had so much anxiety. I just wouldn't want to face the day, but it was too late. My mind was already racing, and I'd have to stay up and just get on with it.
You're listening to the Begin Within Health Show with Nate Slager. For more, go to beginwithin.fit/podcast, or to enroll right now in our flagship coaching program, go to beginwithin.fit/coaching. Welcome back to the Begin Within Health Show. As always, I'm thrilled to have you here with me. I think you're really going to enjoy this interview today that I have with Craig Brockie. He's a best-selling author. He's the founder of Ultimate Health, and he's the creator of Amazon's best-selling Probiotic Yogurt Maker. How does that sound? Sounds like we're going to have a fun interview, right? And I'll tell you what, since I have had this interview, and I batch interviews a lot of times, so I'll do 6, 8 interviews and then take a little break from those and work on other things for a little bit of time. I had this interview with Craig weeks ago. After we talked, I got his yogurt maker delivered to my doorstep just days after we spoke, because I was so excited about what he shared with me. The same thing he's about to share with you in our interview. But my point is, I have been enjoying the benefits of my conversation with Craig Brockie now for some time, and I'm very excited to be able to share that with you as well. We have a link to that yogurt maker in the show notes, as well as to Craig's company's website, Ultimate Health. So those are there for you, waiting as you listen. If you want to do some investigation, you want to check that stuff out right away, I highly encourage it. Here's what I want you to listen for. And you're probably already ready to listen for it. It's the benefit of probiotics. You may already know about probiotics. You may already be taking probiotics, little capsules out of the little bottles. You order them. We are going to talk today a lot about the benefits that come from probiotics, including, of course, is improved health, digestion, also mood, and even muscle mass. Yes, even muscle mass is influenced by the little microbes that live in your gut. We're going to talk about that. So listen carefully, enjoy my interview with Craig, and I will talk to you after the interview. Here's my interview with Craig Brockie.
30 years ago, I'd wake up in bed and I'd feel anxiety. My chest is tight, feel sick to my stomach. And I just, I had so much anxiety. I just wouldn't want to face the day, but it was too late. My mind was already racing, and, I'd have to stay up and just get on with it, basically. But, then I'd walk into the bathroom, I'd look at myself in the mirror and look like, what happened? Like my gut was hanging out, my arms were weak, my shoulders were weak. And then I'd look myself in the eye and I was like, what have you become? Like, I was so filled with guilt, shame, and regret for some of the decisions I'd made and was continuing to make, drug and alcohol use and just things I wouldn't do nowadays. And I regretted doing it at the time. And I realized something had to change. I knew that I should be eating healthy, but I wasn't. I was eating junk food. I knew I should be exercising, but I wasn't. And I knew that something had to change. And when I looked for solutions, I realized that, there's a lot of programs out there for people that are either obese or athletes or bodybuilders, but there wasn't really a lot of programs out there for just the average everyday guy who just wants to improve his health. And at the time, my immune system was shot. I was sick all the time. Of course, I had the anxiety, and I had chronic pain too. Like, I had chronic pain in my neck and back, and life was just miserable. But fortunately, something really cool happened, and it worked. And here I am 30 years later. I feel great. No anxiety. I feel super optimistic. My health is great. No chronic pain. Don't get sick. I'm working out. I'm eating healthy, and I feel fantastic. And I kind of feel like it was a blessing in disguise that 30 years ago my health fell apart, because if it had not, I wouldn't have learned everything that I did, because in the last 30 years I've spent over $1 million traveling all over the world, checking out all the coolest advanced health and wellness technology and performance enhancing technology. And I summarize that in a book called Ultimate Health. And I just love helping people.
Nice. Well, okay. You said something cool happened.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, what
tell me
cool. The
what
cool.
happened that
Yeah. So
changed
what
this for
happened
you.
was I was referred to this massage therapist of all things, and this guy was into Eastern medicine. He practiced Qigong, which is like Tai Chi, but more like a stationary version of Tai Chi. And he was really into deep tissue massage. It was very painful, actually, and my body was so inflamed at the time. And he basically taught me, he said, Craig, what I do for you is 10%. What you do for yourself is 90% of it. So you basically have to take responsibility for getting yourself better. And then he turned me on to naturopathy and naturopathic medicine, which is basically using herbs, vitamins, oxygen, light, all natural things to basically reverse your health issues. And that's the way medicine was up until it got adulterated with drugs and surgery about mid last century, when the Rockefellers came in and just basically turned everything into chemical medicine, because before then it was based on natural medicine and actually, healing the body from the root cause, as opposed to just, covering over symptoms with drugs.
Okay. Well, wow. All right. I'm curious on the things that you listed there. What were some of the ones that made the biggest difference for you in the situation that you were
Yeah,
in?
so exactly. And this, I think, would apply to anybody who's listening right now. If you have any sense of indigestion, whether it's gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux, anything like that, that is a warning sign that something is wrong in your gut. And even if you don't actually have those symptoms, but you have some other chronic health condition that's just not improving, oftentimes it's something that can be addressed in your gut. And I took tetracycline in high school. It's an antibiotic for acne. I was very self-conscious in high school. I was one of the tallest guys. I'm 6'4", so I just stand out, and I was super, super awkward and self-conscious. And so when I started getting acne, I was like, oh, I got to get rid of this stuff. And I went to the doctor. He said, here's tetracycline. Don't take it for more than 6 months. I ended up taking it for 18 months, but even six would have ruined me, I'm sure. Because what these antibiotics do is they wipe out all the good bacteria in your gut as well. And then that just leaves it wide open for other like bad bacteria, parasites, and yeast. I had incredibly high yeast overgrowth. It's called Candida yeast or Candida sias. And when you have that, it just undermines your whole health. And what a lot of people don't know is that your neurotransmitters that help make you feel good, like dopamine, serotonin, these are actually produced in your gut. So when your gut health is out, it's not just your physical health, and your immune system is based in your gut. Like all these things are so related to your gut. That's where you absorb your nutrients. And I had something called leaky gut, where, when the food I was eating and drinking was actually leaking into my bloodstream. And a lot of people have that today. Anyone who's got fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, I can almost guarantee has the leaky gut, but it goes way beyond that. I would almost argue that anybody with a chronic health condition today probably has an inflamed or leaky gut.
Um, so the gut for you was a huge area to focus on.
Yeah.
And that was as a result of probably some intense antibiotics that you got at a pretty young age. So what did you do?
Well, the first
What
thing,
helped?
yeah. Well, the first thing I did, I went to a naturopathic doctor, and he actually tested my level of candida. And I was, I think, an 8 out of 10. And you want that number to be super low. Like it's okay to maybe have a 1 or 2 in terms of this scale. And I was like an 8 out of 10. So I was so the first thing he did was he gave me a herbal remedy, or like a capsule that was knocking out the yeast in my system. And I would argue that most people would benefit from that. Something that can knock out parasites, yeast, bacteria. And there's a lot of products on the market. I don't sell any of those specifically, but I'm happy to direct someone to a product that would help them. If they just go to Amazon or Vita any vitamin store online, search for Candida cleanse or parasite cleanse or things of that nature. They'll find good products. And then basically my anxiety went down almost immediately. As soon as I started getting rid of that candida, my anxiety started disappearing. I started feeling happier, more calm, more able to just think and create and be in the zone instead of just fearful all the time. So that was really cool. And then obviously probiotics are a big part of it too, because once you get things cleaned out, you have to put the good things back in there. And there's so many different species of probiotics. The stuff that you get in like yogurt in the store, there's usually only two species, and they don't even colonate the small intestine. They only colonate the colon. So and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of species of probiotics. So it's good to get a wide variety of those and put them in a high order of magnitude so that they actually are back in there and helping keep you healthy and also defending you against the bad things.
Got it. Got it. So you, okay. So the gut was a big thing for you, and not just getting out the bad stuff, but then making sure that there was good bacteria getting back in there. But even just getting rid of the bad made a noticeable difference in how you were
Totally.
feeling just emotionally. Is that
Yeah,
right?
and I think that a lot of people listening right now, if they're dealing with anxiety, depression, any of these kinds of issues, if they were to do a candida cleanse, clean out their colon, chapter one of my book, I show how you don't even have to go for colonic. There's something called colonics or colon hydrotherapy where they actually force water up your rectum to clean out your colon. That's a very thorough way to do it, but I teach people in my book how they can clean their colon out at home, like with inexpensive things that they probably already have in their kitchen. It's super simple. And that's a good first step because when you're detoxifying your body, you want to make sure that your colon is moving frequently. I think you had a guest on. I saw one of the guests that you had on. He was talking about the importance of being regular in terms of your
Mhm.
bowel movements.
Yep.
And it is so important because when you start detoxifying your body, you're getting a lot of toxins released into, like, they're kind of stored in certain areas like your liver, your kidneys, etc. And when they start coming out, you want to make sure they're making a quick exit from your body, or you can get something what's called a detox reaction or an adverse. People get flu symptoms, headaches, some adverse reactions if they're not moving their bowels regularly and flushing things out. And sweating is also good. Sauna is a great therapy. But
Mhm.
what I want people to do, if they get one takeaway from this, is clean out the bad stuff in their gut, like parasites, bacteria, and viruses and candida that should not be in there, and then get good bacteria in there. I've personally found that probiotic capsules were just way too weak, and I had to actually use a cultured dairy product that was very much stronger that actually would even do anything for me. And then yeah, there's just a whole bunch of things like, and then if people have pain or any of these other issues, there's other chapters in my book that address how to get rid of those things.
Got it. Got it. So yeah, you mentioned the book a couple times. So Ultimate Health, Craig
Yeah.
Brockie. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
one. That's where they want to go. Let's talk about yogurt. Is that
Yeah,
all right?
sure.
So you mentioned the capsules oftentimes are not strong enough. And that probably, we're like, okay, well, if I want probiotics, the easiest way is just let me swallow a pill and I'll be good to go. But
Right.
it's not powerful enough to do what we need it to do.
Well, years ago, what I found was really effective for me was a product called BioK Plus, and you can see it in health food stores. It's in the refrigerated section, and it's actually a fermented dairy product. But what I've learned is in the last year, I read this book called Super Gut by Dr. William Davis. He's a New York Times #1 bestselling author. He wrote the series called Wheat Belly, and he's one of the first
Yes.
guys to start preaching, hey, you shouldn't be eating wheat because it's really causing you a lot of problems. He's a cardiologist, and he recognized how there was a real close association between heart disease and insulin resistance and pre-diabetes and diabetic symptoms and diabetes in general. So he started going down that path, trying to actually solve people's heart problems. And he got to the gut as the main thing that needs to be handled for heart disease. And heart disease is the #1 killer in America. Cancer is #2, if I'm not mistaken. And even cancer, like if your gut is in good working order, you're going to be more, your immune system is going to be stronger, and all these things are going to improve. But anyway, Dr. Davis, he wrote a book called Super Gut. And what I think everyone should pick up a copy. I recommend everybody read that book. And what it inspired me to do was he teaches you how to take any capsule, any commercial capsule that you can get off Amazon or any particular capsule. And usually they'll have 10 to maybe 50 billion live cultures in a capsule. That's quite common. And he teaches you how to, you take a quart of half and half dairy or whole milk or goat's milk or soy milk. Always use organic soy milk if you can do or soy milk, because I mean the GMO stuff, you don't want to go there. I personally like half and half dairy or whole milk or grass fed, organic stuff. But anyway, if you do that, and then you also use a prebiotic, because probiotics eat prebiotics, that's what feeds them. So he actually learned and was doing all this experimenting. If you take a quart of half and half dairy and you put 2 tablespoons of prebiotic, and a good one is called inulin, raw potato starch is another, or if you're out of anything like that, plain old sugar will work. And you don't have to worry about it because the probiotics are actually eating up the sugar. In fact, they eat up the lactose in the milk too. So a lot of people are lactose intolerant or they have problems with dairy, but sometimes those people can actually handle fermented dairy. In fact, I had a friend of mine who had a severe dairy intolerance, and just by eating this high probiotic yogurt that he made following Dr. Davis's recipe and my probiotic yogurt maker that I developed, he was able to get rid of his dairy intolerance within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, you can turn a capsule of say 10 billion live cultures into trillions of live cultures over the course of 36 hours. And then when you want to make a new batch, all you have to use is a spoonful of that yogurt from your last batch to make a new batch. So it's really affordable too.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Become probiotic farmers, everybody in their
Exactly, in your own
kitchens.
kitchen. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's not it takes 5 minutes to set up and it's super easy to clean up, and there's just no downside to it.
Yeah. And now, so some of the reading I've been doing recently on probiotics, and I'm just curious on what you found on this, is that whatever is helping us, essentially we need to keep doing. It's not like we can um just take a probiotic, one time and then
Mhm.
that'll colonize our gut and we're good to go. This has to be a continual part of our lifestyle. Is that true?
I think it is in today's day and age, and that could be because our food system is so toxic and so deplete in minerals. And most people maybe don't know this, but obviously organic food is superior, not just because it's not sprayed with pesticides, but because the soil is richer and got more minerals in it. Like conventional fertilizer is only three minerals, and there should be dozens of minerals in the soil, but
Mm,
they only put three of them on there. And those three are actually derived from petroleum. So like they're totally unnatural. Yeah, yeah. The conventional farming uses only three minerals and they're derived from petroleum. And then on top of that, they're spraying Roundup on top of everything. And if you're eating wheat, after it's even pulled, like harvested, they use Roundup on top of it to dry it out quickly. So they're actually adding even more pesticides afterwards, not just to kill pests, but to dry the stuff out quicker so that they can process it faster. It's just so toxic.
wow.
And, like drinking water can be toxic. People drinking diet sodas, that like those things can mess up your gut microbiome. Like
Yeah.
there's just so many things that are attacking our digestive system on a regular basis. That's probably why it's good to just keep the upper hand on it and just stay ahead of like replenish it and then keep it topped up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned your probiotic yogurt maker. Could you tell?
Yeah,
I'm super curious about that. How did that even come to be? And I guess just tell us about it, where we can get it, those
right.
kinds of things.
Well, I got super excited about Dr. Davis and his work, and said, like, I've been selling products on Amazon now since 2015, and I've successfully exited a business, and I've sold millions of dollars of products on Amazon. Been very blessed with that, and I've started a health brand and it's called Ultimate Health Solutions. And we've got supplements. We've got some really cool supplements that you probably won't find anywhere else too that are super awesome. And I mentioned those in the book. But the yogurt maker is really the game changer. That's our number one product. It's a number one, like those little bestseller badges on Amazon where it's like a orange, like a little yellow orange tag that says bestseller. That's us. We sell the number one best-selling yogurt maker on Amazon. And it's because I'm so passionate about this and we're totally in sync with Dr. Davis and like so supportive of what he's doing. I recommend everybody buy his book and get educated about this topic because yogurt isn't just something, it's not just like a dessert or something you can have in your fridge. And it's super easy to make this yogurt maker. I don't have one right here, but if anyone goes to Amazon or checks out the show notes, I know you'll have
Yeah.
the best deal available in the show notes for this yogurt maker. And you can actually see how simple it is. We have two different models, one with large containers or one with small jars, 8 small jars or 2 larger containers, depending on whether you want like yogurt on the go or if you want to just larger batches that sit in your fridge. But it's honestly so simple to make. Like you can make a batch in 5 minutes. And then here's the thing. Most people don't know this, but yogurt that you buy in the store is usually only cultured or fermented for about 6 to 8 hours at the
Okay.
most. Whereas this yogurt, Dr. Davis, he's such a genius. He started fermenting it for 36 hours. And what he found was that the bacterial content would double every 5 hours approximately. So what that looks like on a graph is that you're coming along and all of a sudden, wham, like towards the 36-hour mark, you're exponentially getting a huge boost in the culture count or the live cultures that are in the probiotics. And that's why it's so strong. You don't have to take much of this stuff. Like a half a cup once a day is enough. So a batch can last like a family a week. It's incredible.
Wow. Awesome. So I just pulled it up on Amazon.
Yeah.
Um, so let me see. I'm just curious now. So when I get it,
I'll send you a free one. Hey, don't worry about it.
so when I get it, Craig, is it coming with probiotics as well? What do I need to include?
Right. So the thing about probiotics is that there's different ones that have different purposes, and Dr. Davis goes over that in depth in his book. But we also have a free PDF that we supply with every order that explains which ones do what. Like if you want to have weight loss, there's a specific one from Dr. Mercola, who makes a really good weight loss probiotic. If you want to reduce inflammation, there's one for that. If you want to address SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, Dr. Davis found that there's 3 strains or species that you want to combine together in one batch. So it really depends on what a person's trying to address. So for that reason, we do not supply the probiotic
Gotcha.
in the yogurt maker. We educate people on, well, if this is your problem, you might want to consider this particular strain or these particular species. Sometimes I use the species and strains incorrectly. Species is like a wide variety of something. A strain would be within a species. So
Okay.
they're not actually interchangeable, but
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. Nice. So you get all the info you need in order to that is really cool that you do that, based on what your symptoms are, what your goals are with the yogurt, you'll be able to know what direction to go.
Right,
That's so
like you're
cool.
a trainer. Yeah, yeah, you're a trainer. So obviously building muscle mass is important. And there's a particular species called L. reuteri.
Got it.
That's the one that
I'm on
Dr.
it,
Davis
Craig.
loves. Okay, well,
Yeah.
you can actually you can take one of your capsules of L. reuteri and make your own probiotic yogurt that's so much stronger than what you're currently taking and will give
Yeah.
you more probiotics faster. And then you don't have to buy those things as frequently. Like, in fact, you might not have to buy them again if you have a full bottle of
Yeah.
them right now.
Yeah, man. I just got I just stocked up. We get it by the case over here. So
Wow.
but
Cool.
now we won't have to anymore. How about that?
Exactly.
Oh man, this is an exciting conversation. I appreciate you digging into it. I know for you, you probably like, okay, talk about yogurt again, but I think it is like you mentioned, it was like when we were kids, right? The Yo plate, like or
Yeah.
Dannon, like we had that in our lunch boxes, but we
Right.
think of it as
as a dessert or a little side dish sometimes. But
Right.
what we're talking about here is um, accessing the power that it can really have on a daily basis.
Right. And then, for instance, the other thing about L-Reuteri too is it helps encourage production of a hormone called oxytocin. I don't know if you've heard of oxytocin, but it's considered the love hormone. It gives you feelings of empathy. And like, I mean, this world could use some more empathy right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and then also it helps with skin collagen production too. So Dr. Davis has done a lot of different studies, and he's found that L-Reuteri in particular helps with muscle production, oxytocin, and skin and wrinkles. So, if someone's looking for just one to start with, that's a cool one to experiment with.
Absolutely. Wow, that's awesome. I, I feel like we're just tapping into the resource that you are of like what these different species can do for us. So oh, I appreciate all your work on this.
Cool.
And I admire just the recall that you have on all that research that you've done. That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Sure. Thanks,
Yeah.
Nate. Appreciate it.
What's so outside of the yogurt maker, we're gonna link in the show notes. What's the best way for people to connect with you and the work that you and your company are doing?
Sure. My website personally is craigbrockie.com. If you want to check out any of our products on Amazon, our URL is amazon.com/ultimate. Our brand is called
Oh, wow.
Ultimate. So if
Nice.
you just go to amazon.com/ultimate, you'll find all our products. But I'm all over social media. I'm posting, uh, helpful strategies for getting healthy and getting fit. And on social media, no matter what social media you're on, you'll find me, Craig Brockie. And I just love sharing information with people. You get on my free newsletter. You can ask me questions. I'm happy to help people free of charge. I'm on a mission to get people healthy, and I I I love doing it.
Awesome. We're on the same mission. Well, thank you, Craig Brockie. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing, all your knowledge and all the work that you're doing. We appreciate it so much.
Thanks, Nate. It's great to talk to you and your audience.
All right, there it is. I want to thank Craig once again for being here on the show. Links are in the show notes once again to the company website, the Ultimate Health website, as well as the Probiotic Yogurt Maker. So, just like we talked about in the interview, we can get some from the capsules that we might be ordering and taking, those probiotics. There are, of course, other sources outside of the pills that we can take. And disclaimer here, I'm not a health expert. I'm not a doctor. I interview them. I'm in the industry, and you better believe that I am learning everything I can about health, just like you are, regular people trying to be our healthiest versions of ourselves. And I know for a fact that probiotics make me feel better, make things work better for me, if you know what I mean. So again, talk with your doctor before you make any big changes. Or if you want to learn more, a great resource would be Craig's book that he mentioned, his website, and the yogurt maker. So if you're interested in getting involved in doing some, I almost like science in the kitchen, creating yogurt on your own, I can attest to the fact that it is not that difficult to use Craig's yogurt maker. Follow the little instructions that come with it in order to make some great probiotic yogurt for yourself. Now, one of the big takeaways that I have from my conversation with him, of course, are the benefits of giving some attention to our gut health. But I think also the idea that these different strains of probiotics, these different strains of bacteria, and again, like he said, I'm not going to get into the weeds on if I'm using the right specific words or not, as far as strain or species or whatever. But these different bacteria do different things for us and within us. And the ones that are there have different jobs that they're performing on a minute by minute basis. So paying attention to it and giving some attention to which ones we might need, which ones we might be taking, and how they're affecting us might go a long way in how you're feeling, in your health, even muscle mass, right? Which we are all concerned with maintaining. And if we're not concerned with it, we should be, because you may know that as you age, muscle mass decreases. This is just part of the aging process. So if you know you're going to be losing it, we need to do everything we can to maintain it. Wouldn't you agree? So let's do it. Let's take some action to make sure that we're the healthiest versions of ourselves possible. Also, our mood. Our mood is influenced by the bacteria that are in our gut. Feel-good hormones like serotonin are created mostly by the bacteria that are living in your gut. Serotonin, yes. If you have ever done any research into psychology, into feel-good hormones, you're going to come across that chemical, serotonin. And to know that it is influenced by what's happening in your gut. For me, when I found that out, that was a big moment, because how we feel plays such a role in how we show up in our lives. Health itself, the pursuit of health, what does it matter? Who cares about it if we're not feeling better along the way, right? So some little changes that we can make that are going to have a big result, big improvements in how we're feeling might be the changes that we make in our gut. Okay. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but I have been reading books now for some time. I have been blessed to be able to spend some time with experts like Craig Brockie and others that we've had here on the show who do know a lot about probiotics, gut bacteria, and ways to improve that area of our health. So if you haven't been, I encourage you to give some attention to it. And as an action step, whether you want to get involved in the yogurt making business like I have or not, what I want to encourage you to do as an action step, and I'm going to give you a couple of easy ways to do this, is do something. Take a step forward to improve your gut health, because I can just about guarantee you, since you and I are regular people, we're just regular people, I can guarantee you that there is some improvement that can be made in your gut, just as there is in mine. So here's some easy ways. Again, yogurt, probiotics, perhaps talk with your doctor, get some advice there from an expert if you'd like. But here's some additional easy ways. I talk about with clients all the time as I'm doing coaching with them, health coaching, just trying to improve. We're trying to move forward. What are some big ways that I can do that? One is fiber, getting more fiber into our diet. And that usually the best stuff is coming from fruits and vegetables, the best fiber. Get some more into your diet. That's one easy way. And just more is just more. So if this is a cup of broccoli, if this is an apple, more than what you had yesterday, today is moving in a healthier direction. So getting more fiber. And the experts will tell us we need approximately, again, this is just total ballpark, 30 grams a day. So one thing you could do if you want to get into it is take a look at how much fiber you're having in a day. Just estimate it, see how close it's getting to that 30-gram mark. Check it out, see what happens. And notice, again, don't do this all at once. Don't try to get up to 30 if you've been at 40. Don't get up to 30 tomorrow. You're going to have maybe some complications, but gradually moving toward it, what you're going to notice is that you feel different. Things work better. So that's one, adding in fiber. Others are, along with yogurt, other fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, those are a couple of them. Of course, yogurt in all its varieties, but appreciating that the stuff that most of the stuff we're buying off the store shelf is pretty limited in most cases with how much actual good bacteria is happening in that yogurt. But we can take some control when we do it on our own at home, like we've been doing in my kitchen and having a little bit of fun, learning about the process, learning about bacteria. If you have any problems, you can message me on social media. I've run into some of them myself. As simple as the process might be, I can maybe save you some time. If you check out the yogurt maker and you want some quick tips, shoot me a message at Nate Slager and I'll give them to you. The things that I have learned about yogurt making in the last few weeks. But I've enjoyed the process. I've enjoyed it as, I don't even view it as a snack or a treat. I usually have it with one of my meals. And to me, it's all about health. So I have my little half cup of yogurt, and that's what it's all about. It is about knowing that I'm doing something that is helping my body, that is moving me in a healthier direction. And I've only felt better doing it. So that's a little anecdotal information for you about yogurt making. Again, links are in the show notes. Take some action to improve your gut health. That's the action step with this episode. Just do something. What will you do? That is up to you. But take a step now to improve your gut health. You're going to feel better. Things are going to work better. Any questions, let me know. Again, talk with a health expert. If you have any specific concerns or needs, I want to thank you so much for listening to the end here, for subscribing to this show, and for sharing it with somebody that you care about. I'll talk with you again soon on the Begin Within Health show. Please continue to take good care of yourself.